Good evening, and welcome to the 53rd Annual Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony at the United States Capitol. I'm Stephen Ayers, architect of the Capitol, and it's an honor for me to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for this annual event. The music tonight has helped create a joyous and festive atmosphere here on the West Front lawn, and I'd like to extend a special thank you to the President's own United States Marine Band under the direction of Captain Ryan Nowlin. Please join me in sharing our appreciation. Thank you. Winston Churchill once said, "Christmas is a season not only of rejoicing, but of reflection." So tonight we rejoice in the merriment of the occasion and take a moment to reflect on the history and tradition of having a Christmas tree here at the Capitol. It all began in 1964 when the 8th architect of the Capitol, George Stewart, at the suggestion of then Speaker of the House, John McCormick, established the annual tradition of decorating a tree. By 1970, the United States Forest Service had joined in the holiday festivities by providing a Capitol Christmas tree from one of America's spectacular national forests. This year, the Kootenai National Forest in Montana graciously provided this magnificent Engelmann spruce behind me to serve as the 2017 Capitol Christmas tree. Woo is right. In keeping with our tradition, the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Paul Ryan, will share his holiday greeting with you tonight and officially light this tree. But before we get to that moment, I want to welcome our members of Congress, our distinguished guests, our Capitol Hill neighbors, and all of you that are visiting the nation's capital today. We are so happy that you've chosen to join us in celebrating this most wonderful time of year on the West Front of the Capitol. Joining me this evening are members of the Montana delegation, Senator Jon Tester, Senator Steve Daines, and Congressman Greg Gianforte. And this gorgeous Engelmann spruce is a gift from the great state of Montana. The handmade ornaments from recycled materials were crafted by children and other communities throughout the Big Sky country. And speaking of ornaments, each year the United States Capitol Historic Society presents a wonderful ornament for us to place upon this tree. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the President of the United States Capitol Historic Society, the Honorable Ronald A. Sarason. Good to see you, Ron.
Thank you, Stephen. And ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure, the United States Capitol Historical Society, to once again participate in this event and add an ornament to the tree. This ornament is one of our annual ornaments that we do every year and are available for sale, I might add. But this one is made from the marble that came off the east front steps that were laid down in 1865 and removed in 1995 when they became so worn and cracked that they had to be replaced. And we were fortunate enough to have some of the marble, and so the marble is ground up, a resin is added, and then it is cast. And so here we have a model of the United States Capitol, which I will leave here for you to present or place on the tree, Stephen. And
thank you so
very
much, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you again.
My pleasure. The United States Forest Service and the architect of the Capitol have partnered for more than 4 decades to bring a Christmas tree to the United States Capitol. Each year, the Forest Service selects one of our nation's marvelous national forests to provide a spectacular tree to grace the West Front lawn and showcase the diversity of trees around our country. These stately and majestic trees do not disappoint. I'd like to thank all of the dedicated Forest Service staff from the Kootenai National Forest in Montana and those that are here in Washington who helped make this event possible, including the United States Forest Service Chief, Tony Took, who we are pleased to have with us this evening. We truly appreciate your commitment to spread the holiday cheer from the Kootenai to the Capitol. Joining us tonight is the Honorable Sonny Perdue, Secretary of the United States Department of Agriculture. Secretary Perdue came by his knowledge of agriculture the old-fashioned way. He was born into a farming family, and he's an avid outdoorsman, so I'm sure he can confirm that this is one of the best trees to ever serve as the Capitol Christmas tree. Secretary Perdue?
Thank you, Architect Ayers, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, is it not? Look at this beautiful view here as we stand on the west grounds of the beautiful historic Capitol building and framed with this beautiful Ingerman spruce from the Kootenai National Forest, from the U.S. Department of Agriculture representing our United States Forest Service. I'm honored to participate in this event and thank our friends from Montana and thank our delegation there and the ones who made all this possible, from our U.S. Forest Service people in the forest, but all through the whole transportation to the Capitol. It's been a glorious thing. This tree is called the Beauty of the Big Sky. Would you agree? Isn't that lovely? 79 feet tall. And I just learned this evening that our architect of the Capitol, Mr. Speaker, not only is a good architect of the Capitol, but he personally picked out this tree. So let's give our architect Ayers a big hand for a great selection of this beautiful tree. So as the Speaker officially opens this Christmas season on the west grounds of the Capitol, let's just rejoice in our freedom and our liberty and in the beauty that we have in this great country. We thank again the Big Sky and our delegation here for allowing us to participate with the U.S. Forest Service and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm honored to share this beautiful season with you as we light the tree tonight. Let's remember our blessings and again, pray God's blessings upon our nation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The United States Forest Service delivered this tree to the West Front a little more than a week ago. And when it arrived, our dedicated Capitol grounds crew at the Architect of the Capitol went to work decorating it with thousands of lights and hung the beautiful handmade ornaments delivered from Montana. Didn't they do a fantastic job? I'd particularly like to thank Ted Bechtel, who personally picked out the tree. He's our Capitol Grounds Superintendent, and Ted had the very difficult task of picking this one tree out of the millions from the beautiful trees in the Kootenai National Forest. Now know that this is Ted's 13th Capitol Christmas tree and his last, as he will retire in January. So let's give him a great round of applause for his work. Thank you, Ted. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce the members of the Montana Congressional Delegation. First up is the Honorable John Tester, the third-generation Montana farmer and former school teacher. As Montana's senior senator, he is the sponsor of this year's Capitol Christmas tree. Senator Tester has worked with local stakeholders and federal officials all year long to ensure that this Christmas celebration has Montana's fingerprints all over it. Senator Tester.
Stephen, I'm just really glad that you didn't rescind the honorable stuff. I appreciate that. Look, it is great to be here. It is true honor to be standing in front of you, in front of the People's Tree. This Christmas tree not only represents the strength of our holiday spirit, it represents the strengths of the nation and our great state of Montana. Take a moment, look up. It is no surprise that this tree came from the Treasure State. Take note of the top of the tree. That copper star was designed and built in Montana with Montana copper, the same copper, I might add, that wired this country. Traveling all across this nation, from the Kootenai National Forest in northwest Montana, this tree symbolizes our state's incredible natural resources. It is also a symbol of strong, hardworking Montanans. From Pete Talmadge, who cut this Engelmann spruce, to Larry Speakmeyer, who drove 3,500 miles across this country dressed in red and everybody thought he was Santa Claus, to Ridley Brandmeier. Ridley is a sixth grader from Bozeman, Montana. In a few minutes, Ridley, with the help of the speaker, will light this tree up in this nation. Ridley recently lost his fingers in a tragic accident, but despite this adversity, Ridley has continued to show incredible strength and determination to pursue his passions of hunting and fishing. And word has it, Mr. Director, if you ever take cellos, he plays a pretty mean cello. Look, Ridley, someday, who knows, you may even be a senator, okay? Look, this tree is literally grown in Montana for decades, and during brutal fire seasons, braving harsh winters, reaching the height of almost 80 feet, it probably provided shelter for bald eagles and shade for elk. This tree didn't grow on its own, though. It had roots that reached deep and nourished by Montana's rich soil and sustained by clean mountain water. Once it was picked to be the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree, folks from across Big Sky country came together to decorate it with handmade ornaments, especially the students from Billings Head Start, some of which are here with us today. This tree is more than a symbol of the natural resources of the Treasure State. It is our shared history, intertwined with our outdoor heritage and our Montana values. It is an example of what happens when this nation works together toward a common goal. It is a symbol of unity this Christmas season. So, on behalf of every Montanan, I want to wish America a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Tester. Senator Steve Daines, a fifth-generation Montanan. He was elected Montana's United States Representative in 2012 and to represent Montana in the United States Senate in 2014. Senator Daines.
Well, thank you, Stephen. This is a proud Montana moment for a kid from Montana. I'm looking out at the Washington Monument on one end, and on the other end, I have that beautiful spruce tree. This is a great moment for Montana and for our nation. It is always good to have more Montana here in Washington, D.C. I think this nation would be a better place if D.C. looked a little bit more like Montana, and it does tonight. Especially a beautiful Montana tree from the Kootenai National Forest. I want to thank all the Montanans who worked so hard to bring the Capitol Christmas tree over 3,000 miles from the very farthest northwest corner of Montana to Washington, D.C., including the Kootenai National Forest team and all our elected officials who are here tonight. And I, too, want to give a special shout-out to Larry, I guess we'll call you Larry Santa Claus, Speaker Meyer, who drove that truck the entire way. Thank you, Larry. From the branches to the 3,500 ornaments to that Bitterroot star at the top, this gift from Montana will light up the Capitol grounds during the Christmas season for our entire nation to enjoy. I also want to recognize all the Montanans who took the time to come to D.C., because we've had a lot of them here this week, to be here for the special event to see this magnificent tree that represents Montana so well. A tree that stands tall and represent so much of the joy and the hope that's found in Christmas. And Ridley, I got to say something. I found out Ridley and I went to the same grade school in Bozeman. Ridley went to kindergarten through 5th grade. When I went there a long time ago, Ridley, I went to kindergarten through 4th grade. But our kids went to the same middle school as Ridley. It's from my hometown of Bozeman. And I also want to say this in conclusion. If there's any service members from Montana, either here or watching from afar, as Montanans, we are proud of this tree, but we're even prouder of you. And I want to thank you for our service to our great country. It is an honor to represent Montana and to be here tonight as my sweet wife, Cindy, of 31 years, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas on behalf of Big Sky Country.
Thank you, Senator Daines. Sworn into Congress in 2017, Congressman Greg Gianforte represents the entire Montana, or the entire state of Montana, in the United States House of Representatives. Congressman Gianforte.
Thank you, Stephen. It is an honor to be here tonight. Merry Christmas, America. On behalf of all of Montanans, allow me to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Thank you, everyone from across this great land who helped bring this beautiful Engelmann spruce from Kootenai National Forest here to our capital. Larry, I know you have your cheering section. But thank you for transporting this tree all the way here to Washington, D.C. And to the Forest Service folks who helped select and lead the process from the Kootenai National Forest, thank you to you as well. I want to give a special shout out to Brad and Carly Brendenson of Split Mountain Metals that built this star on the top of this thing. They've been married just 2.5 years. They're starting a business in Belgrade, Montana, and they did a great job on this star. I hope it shines bright for a long time. So this 80-foot tree is small. Well, maybe not so small. Piece of Montana that reflects the beauty and the wonder of our state and our natural resources. We're honored to share it with all Americans and the world during this Christmas season. May the people's tree from under Montana's big sky be a sign of good cheer. May it and the star adorning it serve as a beacon of hope that brings us together. May your Christmas be special, blessed with the warmth of family and friends, good health, and good cheer. Thank you. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Congressman. It's now my great privilege to introduce the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Paul Ryan has served the people of the 1st Congressional District of Wisconsin since 1999. He became Speaker in 2005 and continues the tradition of lighting the Capitol Christmas tree. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Paul Ryan.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate that. First of all, I just want to congratulate everybody who made this work and brought this together. I want to thank the whole Montana delegation. I saw Ryan Zinke up here earlier as well. So I want to thank the Montana delegation. A moment like this, when you get to show off some of the best that your state has to offer, it's a fantastic moment. So Montana, thank you and congratulations. You know, at the end of every year, no matter how short or how long it may feel, there is always Christmas. Waiting for us is that sense of wonder that the shepherds felt when the angels appeared in the night sky to herald the birth of a Savior. After hearing this news, the shepherds knew that they had to go see for themselves what this was all about. Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that happened, they said. That is the true spirit of Christmas. That is what we reflect upon here. Amid our cares and troubles, we gather to see for ourselves that the light overcomes the darkness. We seek the joy and the good in the world. We give back to those who are in need. We give a hand to those who are in pain. We see that the glory of God shines all around us and brings us closer to one another. These gifts, they never dim our hearts. They are always there. All we need is a little bit of light, of course. A little Christmas to guide our past. With that, we get to come to the best part. It is clear that this year's tree represents the full heart and the full spirit of the Big Sky State. From the gratitude of the driver that I keep hearing about, Larry Speakmeyer of Plains. I got to meet you, Larry. He called it the crown jewel of his career. To the hope and the perseverance of our official tree lighter, 11-year-old Ridley Brandmeier of Bozeman. Ridley, please come up here. Over on this side, Ridley. So with us tonight are Ridley's parents, Emily and Brent, as well as your younger brother Ross is here, right? Yep. Ridley is a 6th grader at Sacagawea Middle School, and I want to give right now a big shout out and a big hello to the students and the teachers at Sacagawea Middle School. Merry Christmas. I know they're watching. So it says here that Ridley enjoys fly fishing, skiing, hunting, soccer, competitive swimming, playing cello, and reading. So Ridley, thank you for carving out a little time for us here today. You are a very busy young guy. So tonight, on behalf of the good people of Montana, Ridley offers a holiday greetings to all Americans. We're going to count down, and Ridley is going to light up this beautiful tree from Montana. So you ready, Ridley? You see the switch?
That one?
That one right there.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today! Dude, nice job, man.
What a spectacular tree. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming to tonight's ceremony and for joining Speaker Ryan, the Montana delegation, the Forest Service, the Department, and young Ridley.